Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and a very warm welcome to you all. Customer expectations are fast changing in this digital first world. This change is driving digital and marketing teams to rethink their customer engagement strategy. Teams must now adopt new content management practices that support creation, assembly, and personalized delivery across varied touchpoints at scale. Today, we take this opportunity to know how leading teams are managing the demands of the modern supply chain. Welcome to yet another session of Adobe's Experience Wednesday. Today's session is on rethinking content strategy for a digital first world, brought to you by ET Brand Equity and Adobe. To start off with today's discussion, first we will have a fireside chat, and for that, it is my sincere honor to introduce to you all Mr. Arun Matthews, Head Digital Hero Motocorp, who shall be joined by Ms. Shweta Ram, Senior Solution Consultant, Adobe. A very hearty welcome to both of the speakers. With that, over to you both.
Thank you, Baisakhi. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Adobe Experience Maker Wednesday. Joining me on this fireside chat on rethinking content strategy for the digital first world is Arun Matthews. Arun has spent 18 years inspiring, motivating, and educating brands to engage with customers using emerging digital technology. Currently, as head digital with Hero Motocorp, Arun is transforming how customers interact across digital touchpoints by bringing together advanced analytics, segmentation, and personalization. Welcome, Arun.
Thanks, Shweta. Thanks a lot. It's great to meet you.
Great to meet you again. So, Arun, to start with, right? I mean, as somebody who has seen digital really transform across multiple industries, when it comes to digital marketing or when it comes to digital first brands, what role do you see content really play? That's my first question. And secondly, I want you to wear the hat of a digital marketer across the industry and say, is it really very different when you are working with different companies, or do you think it's sort of principally stays the same?
Shweta, I will take your question. The second question, the first to answer. There is a certain level of business intelligence that every business has. Okay, and it does not matter, and eventually beyond that does not matter. Whether you are in automobile, whether you are in airlines, whether you are banking, it does not matter. There's a certain level of business intelligence which you anyways have to learn. Even within the same industries, different brands behave differently. You have to adapt to that conditions. I mean, same brand. There could be a brand one selling to rural market, one selling to urban market. In the same category, it's a different environment in altogether. So actually, it's not a big challenge to switch industries. And I have worked in multiple industries, and this is a regular question which I get. Arun, you have switched between an airline to a traveling website to an e-commerce to a banking to now to an automobile. Don't you find it tough? I mean, actually, it does not. It's not very tough. The reason is very simple. On digital platforms, there's a basic expectations. There's a way the consumers behave. There's a data which shows how the consumers behave. You have to interpret that data. I mean, I will take a simple example. I mean, so that everybody understands it. Irrespective of your industry, how in Excel, how you're going to put, how you're going to create your presentations, how you're going to put data on Excel sheet, or how you are going to compose your emails on an email message, it's not going to change. It is the same way. There's a data, there's a tech. If you are in love with data and tech, I mean, it does not matter which industry you are in, you will find love wherever you go. The first part of your question, that how content plays a major role. In fact, it's the most important thing, how the content plays an important role in the digital evolution. I mean, let's take a scenario. Just think from the perspective. I'm probably when we were in the schools, I still remember the days when I was in my 12th standard, and it was kind of the second last day of our entire batch, and we were saying Tata bye bye to each other, and everyone was busy filling up the scrapbooks. I mean, even if today when you open up those scrapbooks and try to read it, you will find the emotional connect that happens. I mean, a lot of younger generation might not connect with me, but we used to write diaries. The pre-internet era, we used to write diaries. Today, they call it blogs, but those are times we used to write diaries. I mean, still, I know a lot of people who still maintain that. If you read the content on it, you will find it interesting. You will find the emotional connect out there. Content has not changed. The way you consume the content has changed. Whether it was a blogs, whether it's an imagery, whether it's videos, whether what we call is now an AR or VR experience today, which is driving us. The way we consume content has changed. Telling stories have existed since the evolution of mankind. I mean, if you go to the older, go to the beginning of the human evolution, those cavemen used to draw paintings in their caves, and we understand what they did, how they hunted, their culture from what they drew. So content has always been part of the mankind. What has evolved is the way we experience the content. Creation of content will always exist. Creation of content will continue to exist. Consumption of the content will always. So as a brand, we need to make sure that we adapt to the technologies, we adapt to the new evolving methods of consumption. If as a brand, if you're still advertising a yellow pages, which was relevant into a certain period of time, your visibility is going to get down. Today, you have to make sure that you are present in front of everyone. Sometime in the month of March, there's a report which came in Times of India, which said that a report was published in Times of India, which said that 750 million plus Indians are on. We have a population of 130-35 crores Indians, out of which 75 crores of Indians are online. In the same report, it was mentioned that 16 crores smartphones, the highest ever smartphones were shipped in 2021. So there's a lot of people who is digitally active. But what are these people doing? These people are consuming content. These people are consuming content in their own languages, at their own time, what they wanted to see, how they see it. They are consuming the content in the way they would like to consume. Remember 15, 20 years back, when, I mean, probably people of my age would be easily to connect with them. On Sundays, we used to gather together in front of television. The entire families gathered together. In fact, entire neighborhood used to gather together in front of TVs. Some didn't have TVs, some had televisions. And if you didn't have televisions, you probably go to your neighbor's house, watch Chitrahar, watch Ramayana, watch Mahabharata. And over a period of time, then multiple dish TVs came into picture. Then people started. Then there were different channels who started which is different genre of content coming into picture. Whether it was religious, whether it's kids, whether it's music, whether it's movies, and then probably if you look at today, and then the era of MP3 came up. MP3s, iPods came into the picture, and that's when I think the more of a personal evolution of content started. When people started listening to their own music, that I have my own personal device, I will listen to the music that I want to listen to. It's not the music that entire family wants to listen. I mean, my grandmother wants to listen to a religious song. My dad would be listening to a Lata Mangeshkar song. I would be more interested in a Bhakti Lahiri kind of a song at that point of time. So different people, different content. The consumption of content remains the same. It's the way. The content creation remains the same. It's the consumption of the content which has changed.
Love the examples, Arun. And I mean, great points here, right? In the sense that storytelling has not really changed. And you spoke about the caveman, and that's absolutely right. I mean, we remember stories, and the way in which I would consume content will be different. But yeah, the fact that I'm consuming content in any different sort of media, that has sort of, fundamentally the principle has sort of stayed the same. So now in this new age thing, like you said, people are consuming content in different places, be it video or, be it voice, or be it, you spoke about, the evolution of media as such. So is that what people, I mean, is that really omni-channel? Because then again, omni-channel again is a very abused sort of a word, right? In terms of saying that you need to be there everywhere. So how do you kind of look at some of these things, right? Do you prioritize content for different TGs, or do you say that everyone should kind of have a choice in terms of where they consume and you're going to be present everywhere?
There is an age-old saying which says that we keep your consumers at the center of everything that we do. As the digital evolved, it gave customers an options to choose the content they want to browse, they want to watch, or they want to read. Customer expectations are on the rise, and they now do expect a certain experience from the every brand that they follow. I mean, some leading brands are spoiled our customers. That's what I would say. Spoiled in the right sense, because those brands showed the power that the consumers can have, the power to choose what they want. And at the end of at the basics of everything is the content. Content powers everything we do, whether it's social media, whether it's website catalog pages, whether it's our landing pages, whether it's our email messages, whether it's our blogs, product descriptions, FAQs. I mean, I can go and go and go on. Today at Hero MotoCorp, when we are thinking content, we have to think about omnichannel. It is very, very, very important that experience that a consumer share with our brands is consistent and unified. We do not have the luxury. In fact, no brands have the luxury to show different pieces of content at their own whims and fancies. And it has to be consistent. That messaging has to be consistent. I mean, simple example I will give you. We have a product called a two-wheeler, what we call as a premium motorbike, Hero Extreme 160R. There's a very consistent messaging which has gone on into the product. I mean, it's right also. We have it's one of the fastest in its segment. It does 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds. It's one of the fastest in the segment. And that's a message we continuously tell the customers everywhere they go, whether they see that message on the social media, whether they come to our website and read about the Extreme 160, or whether they even go to our showrooms and ask about Extreme 160. It's a consistent message which has to run. If just think from a perspective, if our consumers found different versions of same content or different methods of same content, he will be getting confused. He will be like, the brand doesn't know what they are selling, and the brand doesn't know what is right. Then how I can make a customer make the right decision in choosing this particular brand. So we have to make sure that we are consistent with our thing. We have personalized with our thing, and it's a unified approach. It has to be consistent across everything. It can't be one channel. It can't be a scenario where you work on your content and make your website the best, whereas your other messages, your email messages, is not consistent with your website. Your call center is not consistent with your website. Your showrooms are not consistent with your website. It has to be omnichannel. So it's in fact a core part of a strategy. Omnichannel content is a core part of strategy. We have to make sure when customer interacts with us on platform, we unify that. We understand what they're talking to us, and we unify that experience. Please delete whatever I said the last line. Just take a pause and then repeat this. As a brand, we have to make sure we have unified experience, and hence omnichannel is the core part of a digital strategy.
Understood. And again, great points, right? I mean, for an industry like automotive, and you spoke about dealership, where channel is traditionally thought to be the place to kind of go and buy and touch and feel. So in that sense, I think digital is really transforming the way somebody shops for an automotive vehicle, right? I mean, it's been like that for a while now. But now I think post-pandemic, a lot of things have changed. And I think in the beginning, Arun, you touched a little bit upon things like virtual showroom and, being able to kind of find the right thing, whether I walk into an offline dealership or come on the website. Can you talk to us a little bit about how are you making that experience immersive when it comes to, any of the digital properties?
Thanks, Shweta, pointing to my earlier point, where I've said that content has not changed. How we experience the content has changed. I mean, I strongly believe, if there is no content, either the world is black or either the world is white. It can't be even black and white because it's two colors and it's content to consume. Mankind has always leaped forward to experience new content in new format. They want to experience it, they want to feel it, and not just to consume content. They want to experience the content, which is a new buzzword, which we say. In fact, it's not a buzzword now, it's becoming a reality now. They want to experience everything. The brands who concentrate on experience will lead them. Today, people want to experience immersive content, which is AR, VR, MR technologies are able to create. Uh, an immersive experience pulls the person into an augmented reality, into a reality, and he's able to connect with his everyday life. And that can happen only through technology. People want to experience the product before they walk into the showroom for a test drive. They want to see how the product looks from different angles. They want to configure the vehicle and see how it looks. Today, there's a lot of buzzword around the metaverse, which is going on around. And what is it? It's a parallel life. I mean, you enter that world, you purchase things, you transact through NFTs. I don't know whether you remember this or not. There used to be a game called Second Life a long time back, where you used to create your own avatar and used to have parallel life there. I feel it's an advanced version of that game. There are a lot of things which you wanted that game to do today, but this immersive technologies gives you the way to think through it. Immersive virtual reality experience plays a crucial role for you, and to strike the right balance with our potential as well as existing customers. It helps us. It helps all the stakeholders in simplifying the purchase decisions, and it also creates a strong brand loyalty. Just an example that I want to take out is another example of one of our premium bikes, which I will take. We have this wonderful adventure two-wheeler called Xpulse 204. And one can upgrade this vehicle with a rally kit. You can make a pure play off-roader bike with the rally edition, what we call a rally kit, and you can make and you can upgrade this one. I mean, yes, there's a content around it which I can read, which I can understand it, but just think from a perspective. The user comes onto our virtual showroom. He's able to fit in. He's able to configure his Xpulse to a 204V. He's able to put the rally edition kit and see how this bike looks from different angles. That's an experience that people are looking for. That experience, nothing can replicate. I mean, there are lots of accessories. There are lots. I mean, especially from an automobile perspective, there are lots of accessories one can fit in on their vehicles, on their two-wheelers. And every accessory, we don't know how it will actually look on your vehicle. By giving them the right experience using the virtual reality, it brings our product closer to their heart. What I strongly believe is the implementation of the immersive technologies is still in its early phases, at least in the automobile sector. But the key is to make sure that we have to be ready for the future. And Hero MotoCorp's vision itself is be the future of mobility. Yes. So in today's scenario, AR/VR is easing the automobile's journey, and it also boosts the efficiencies of all the stakeholders across the entire buying experience. And it makes more personalized approach. The entire buying experience more personalized.
Got it. And Arun, taking a cue from what you said in terms of, leading with empathy and being able to do personalization, and because you also don the hat for building personalization at Hero, right? So in that sense, trying to build it at scale, what does that really mean? I mean, what are other pieces that content really needs to talk to? Or when you say personalization, what are some of the things that you kind of think of when you want to personalize something like a website, which is it's for everybody, right? So how would you, how are you thinking about, say, personalizing for a Shweta versus, somebody else who's maybe into off-roading and things like that?
Thanks, Shweta, for highlighting this. There are three parts which you talked about. One part was the empathy. The second part was the personalization. The third part was, can we do this at scale? And all those are interconnected. Empathy drives personalization, and personalization in itself can't stand alone if you can't do it on scale. And why empathy is important? We have heard it multiple times. Empathy drives emotions, which builds connect. The ability to think from a consumer's point of view, for market is absolutely critical. Our job revolves around ability to understand consumers' mindset and reflect them in our content. That true empathy is about creating journey between the brand and the consumers, and it involves connection and understanding of a consumer's emotional. If brands wants to engage, and they have to understand the customer's values, what motivates them, and what they care about. But empathy cannot be superimposed on the consumer. Empathy doesn't have one size fit all requirements. And when you keep customers at the center of everything, you drive personalization. When performed correctly, personalization can be a powerful means of tailoring experiences that delight consumers. There is always an opportunity for an increase in customer loyalty, whether we're talking about engagement, whether we're talking about reducing marketing cost, by just having a plain vanilla personalization strategy. I mean, you always see a marginal increase whenever you bring personalization into the picture. And across multiple brands that I have worked with, every brand has seen a small increment, even by just personalizing smaller experiences. And now it's a must-have. Every company must go take a route of personalizing experience. And if they are doing it, they will 100% sure some marginal lift in their entire revenue stream. Delivering the right experience personalization is a tricky thing. It's not a shiny object or the buzzword that we are choosing. I mean, it's very, very tough. It gets tough by the fact it has to be driven by the scale. Personalization is driven by the fact that how well you know your customers or your prospects. It's not about one person. I know Shweta. I might know Baisakhi. I might know 10 other people. But do I know more than 10 people? Now I know 100 people. I know 1,000 people. If I have to build connect with them, I need to know them personally. We need technologies. We need to invest as a branch. We need to invest in technologies that not only capture the data, but also help us in segment in the right buckets and deliver the experience that we want to build for the segments across channels. Driving personalization is the key, no question about it, but driving at the scale is another mountain. It's a key driver, especially as companies move away from reliance on third-party cookies, making contextual targeting. We again have an identity resolution, which is coming up. We need to make sure that we invest in technologies which drives the entire personalization at scale and on a real-time basis. It gathers signals from all individual customers on a real-time basis and builds that profile by maintaining the privacy also. I mean, there are very few players in the market who can actually walk that tightrope of personalized data and the privacy. And it's a tricky thing. It's not it's easier thing to say, but it's a tricky thing. I've said this might sound easy, but trust me, it's real hard when you take that work. We need to invest in strong platforms that can build the profile, deliver the experience in a real-time environment, and a platform which is AI-enabled. As we are not talking about creating one segment or two segments, we're talking about probably thousands or millions or billions of segments. What AI allows us is to meet the speed and the immediate requirement of customer expectations in terms of what they want, in terms of what they want, and helping us to deliver that experience to them. They want it every second of their move. It's not that, okay, this is the first time I'm visiting the website, although this is only the third time I'm visiting your property, or probably at the 10th time you will get it back. It's not that. The very first time I log in, they expect a certain level of experiences to be powered with. And to do that, we need systems which can deliver it at scale. We need to move away from the traditional manual segmentation to a real-time segmentation and sophisticated personalization. Because it's not possible to process volumes of data and create actionable insights through traditional approaches. At Hero MotoCorp, we are investing in technologies which are future-ready. In that context, we have started a series of projects to baseline existing customer journeys, technology architecture, and build use cases with a vision to create best-in-class, award-winning, and industry-leading customer experiences at scale.
Thanks, Arun. Again, great points, right? And really powerful things in terms of saying it's easy to say personalization, but to actually kind of deliver it at scale is where, like they say, that's where the rubber hits the road. And you've been kind of doing this across industry, right? I mean, back when you were with airline or to banking, and I think you touched upon saying that automotive is slightly newer in that sense to sort of digital. So at Hero, what are some of the large things, or what are some of the key changes that you're trying to drive cross industry? Or because you said fundamentals don't change, right? So are there certain things that you think work across industry beyond, of course, the storytelling bit, beyond, are the content pieces really different in that sense? Because virtual showrooms is something that's very crucial to auto in that sense, right? So are there any other pieces that way, or when you think about it, what are some of the things that you keep in mind when you maybe work with your agencies to say, hey, this is the next type of content that I want to create, or this is the next type of personalization I want to deliver?
So when we talk to the agency, we're talking from a data perspective. We are understanding what consumers is interacting with us, what an 18 to 24 is behaving with us, what a 24 to 35 is behaving with us, what a metro 18 to 24 in a metro town is behaving. Is it behaving very well differently than 18 to 24 in a tier 2, tier 3 cities? So there are multiple data points which comes into the picture, and every person who interacts with us leaves certain kind of print with us. What we are trying to build is, can we connect the dots? Can we connect the dots across this multiple consumer personas, multiple consumer segments, and can we create content which can drive their content consumption? A simple example, which I want to drive further. We are creating product videos. And if we create product videos in one language or two language, it will create problems for the consumers. There is a consumer sitting in a town in Chapra. There's a consumer sitting in a town called Kochi. There's a consumer sitting in Hyderabad. There's a consumer sitting in some remote corner of Rajasthan. All consuming content in different methods, all consuming content at the time of his choice, all consuming content in the language of his choice and the medium of his choice. Some consume content by reading, some consume content by watching the video, some consume content by listening to the content. So as a brand, can I create different types of content? I'm talking about a product description kind of a content, which explains how good the bike is, what's the mileage of the bike is, what the power output of the bike is. Can we replicate this in multi formats? Can we replicate this in text? Can we replicate this in imagery format? Can we replicate this in video format? Can we replicate in the language that we're talking about? So today we are investing in we are investing in technologies, we are investing in platforms which captures data, which gives us insights to that data, so that we can capture it, group it, segment it, and help us to deliver and create those journeys, and which is the best match for each segment to deliver that personalized experience. We would be investing in something called, headless content management systems. It gives us as a platform, it enables us to deliver consistent experiences across any channel or devices in an efficient way.
So Arun, thanks so much. So one last question before we kind of let you go. I know that you kind of spoke about a lot of things and some great pointers there, but if there was one last thing that you would want, the audience or anyone to remember, anyone who's kind of starting on this journey, trying to build immersive sort of content or experience-driven content, is there something that you would like them to keep in mind, or any parting thoughts on what they could be?
Sure, Shweta. As a brand, we must invest in technologies which delights, and we must invest in delighting customers at every touch point, and provide them a seamless experience which is intuitive, delightful, and personalized. We should not shy away from personalization. I have seen brands shying away investing in technologies. I will go back to my initial, when we started the conversation, the things which I said, that it remains the same. It's the data intake. If you understand your consumer, you have data in hand. You need to invest in technology. Again, I'm repeating this, which captures, which segments data, because that's the key which drives everything. And then you need to invest in technology which utilizes this data and helps it to deliver a personalized experience to your customers. And there's no shortcut. Telling you there's no shortcuts to it. It can be A tool versus B tool versus C tool. Whatever tools that customers looking out for, you have to make sure it's future ready. It's future ready, futuristic. If the product doesn't have vision, the technology which you're investing in doesn't have a futuristic vision, you are going to. I mean, you yourself will not be able to create a futuristic vision for the consumer. Don't shy away from investing in technology. That's the way it is going to be. If 75 crores Indians out of 130 and 35 crores Indians are online, they are consuming some. And if you are not present while they are looking for you, or while they are looking for content related which is connected to your brand, and if at that point of time you don't have a content, you don't have a technology to create that emotional content, the empathy thing which you talked about, the emotional connect which you talked about, if you don't have that technology which can drive that, you might lose a customer. We have to make sure, as all the brands, including us, Motor Corp, we are making sure that we are futuristic. In fact, last year, on the occasion of our 10th anniversary, Chairman Dr. Pawan Munjal created a vision that by 2030, 30% of our sales will be driven through digital channels, and we are preparing for that vision. It can't be a short-term vision. And it is futuristic of him to come up with a vision which is future, which looks into the future, vision which has got the numbers, a vision which will help us to create a roadmap into creating that 30%, going and meeting that 30% by 2020. That's a vision that which we are looking at for. Every company needs to invest, create that vision, invest in technology, understand data, have people who also understand data and tech. Because that's the key. You can't. These are three key components. Have a clear-cut vision, invest in technology, invest in people. You get all three things put together, mix it, you have a great cocktail.
Thanks, Arun. Again, great points and very ambitious vision to kind of having 30% of your sale on digital. I wish you all the best in this, and thank you so much for talking. It's fantastic. It's been fantastic talking to you. And as always, it's been a pleasure kind of hearing you talk about digital, and your passion really kind of shows through. Thank you once again, and I hope our audience learned as much as I did today. And over to you, Baisakhi.
Thanks, Shweta.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews and Ms. Ram, for putting in your thoughts so beautifully. We indeed gained some very knowledgeable insights at the end of this session. But we are not done yet. For next, we have with us Mr. Chetan Jogi, Solution Consultant, Adobe, who will take a deep dive into the subject further and set the context with an interesting presentation. So without any delay, over to you, Mr. Jogi.
Thank you, Basafi. Good afternoon, all. What you can see on the screen is the famous curve on the Monaco Formula One racetrack. Formula One has been getting quite popular recently, and the numbers are actually reflecting the same. I have just pulled down some of the numbers in this case for each of the races, as well as the business that Formula One is doing. The average viewership of one Formula One race has nearly doubled. It has increased from 540,000 to about 940,000 over the period of 2 years. The social media following of the handles of Formula One has increased around 40%, rising from 35 million to 49 million. And I'm just talking about the US Grand Prix revenue in this case. It has doubled over the course of 2 years. So what is this phenomenon which is actually driving this growth for Formula One? It is the singular event, emerging, engaging piece of content that has driven such engagement for Formula One. It has amassed around 1.5 billion aggregate social media engagement and has catapulted Formula One to the level seen by the Super Bowl in the US, the English Premier League in the UK, and the IPL in India. This singular piece of content has catalyzed catalyzed the transformation and launched Formula One, that exciting racing sport, in a whole new light globally. The sport has reached new segments of users. The digitally savvy Gen Z are coming and watching Formula One, from the uber rich, ultra luxurious people who were actually coming to the stands and watching it. It redefined the sporting experiences. It was giving back to its fans, has brought new fans into the picture, as well as as well as are engaging with them, making them feel a part of the entire racing experience and delighting them. Just taking an analogy here, in this digital first world where everything ranging from entertainment to shopping to food to dating is consumed digitally, it is the redefining of these consumer experiences that can bring a transformation in the business. And content is the bedrock to fuel this consumer experiences. Now, how is that possible? Because more content means more ways of reaching out to your customers. More reach would lead to more engagement and thus more experiences for your customers to consume. So, how can brands and organizations rethink their content in a digital first world? They can do it via three pillars. First of them is the omni-channel strategy. There has been an explosion of channels, both physical as well as digital, that consumers are engaging upon. There has been a rise of new social media platforms each and every day, and consumers are flocking onto them. As well as on the physical side, customers are engaging with the brand on in-store kiosks, through call centers, in their stores directly. So brands need to rethink their omni-channel strategy asset. The second is the immersive content. With the advent of new technologies like 3D, AR, VR, the launch of the metaverses assets, consumers are expecting to engage with new content formats. And brands in this world, in this digital first world, should have the capabilities in place so that they can push that engaging, that immersive content to their customers to consume. And the third is personalization assets. Once you have selected the right channel and once you have that immersive content in place, it's time to deliver the right content to that customer. And it needs to be personalized. It needs to be contextualized according to his needs and wants assets. So these are the three pillars if you want to rethink your content strategy in a digital first world. How does Adobe help brands in rethinking their content strategy? Adobe Experience Manager is the flagship CMS platform which helps organizations to accelerate creation, management, and the delivery of personalized content and experiences across every touchpoint. It enables organizations to manage the entire end-to-end content lifecycle, right from sourcing and creating content to managing and creating experiences from that content to personalizing it and delivering to every channel as such. What I would be doing for the next few minutes is focusing on the three pillars that I discussed earlier, the omni-channel one, the immersive content, and the personalization piece, and also showcase you some of the capabilities as to how Adobe Experience Manager can help brands to take these new pillars and rethink your content strategies. First is the omni-channel one. One of the key challenges while delivering content across multiple channels is to grapple with different formats, different aspect ratios, different form factors, network bandwidth in terms, if you're talking in terms of videos, and keep the content consistent to deliver a seamless experience. It doesn't help, that brands would ideally need to quicken this content creation process, plus have the ability to scale up whenever new channel get added. All in all, there should be no effect on their content creation velocity while delivering an omni-channel experience. What I would now showcase is how AEM can handle all these challenges seamlessly. I am currently on the home screen of the Adobe Experience Manager, and I'm in the digital asset platform, the digital asset management platform. I've just created two folders in this case. The omni-channel contains the omni-channel assets, and the immersive contains the immersive assets. Just have taken some assets, Formula One cars, and I would just be opening this. I have taken three assets in this case. Just opening up one of the assets. What you can see is you can play around with the asset on the screen. I've just opened the renditions asset, and you can see different renditions which are automatically created here. This is the original file, but I have also run a configurator on the folder, and all the renditions are then automatically created. What I would be doing is basically putting these rendition properties in that configurator. So let's say I have an original image and I want to create a Facebook post image according to the specifications. I want to create an Instagram post according to that specification. What AEM can do is you just upload your original file and reprocess the assets according to that configuration. And all the renditions are automatically created. No need for your creative team or your creative agency to take the original file and then again convert those into the renditions that are required. What I want to also showcase you is a AI ML capability that the AEM, the Adobe Experience Manager provides you, which is called as a smart crop. What it does is it would automatically identify the focal point of the image and crop the image smartly so that you can use that image anywhere that you want. In this case, it also provides you with an URL, and it has that specification that this is a 1:1 square image. You can just copy paste this URL and post it on any of your digital platforms directly. So these are some of the capabilities to provide an omni-channel experiences. The challenges that I talked about, creating renditions automatically, tweaking your content creation process so that your creative team can focus on creating more content rather than just creating different renditions or different formats of the same content piece. Moving on to the next pillar, which is immersive content. The ability to view emerging rich media content with the existing one can give an organization or a brand a differentiating factor and help it leap ahead of its competition. It can also help the brand to set up benchmarks in its own industry and become a category leader in providing innovative, delightful digital experiences in new content formats. Adobe Experience Manager Asset supports all the state-of-the-art creative formats today, right from 3D to 360-degree videos to augmented and virtual reality. One can just plug and place its dynamic media on all their digital properties with a click of a button. Let me show you how. What I have created in this case is a simple website. This is a weekend website that I have created. And this is a 3D content that you can see, a 3D model of a car. And I'm just playing around with this. And this is entirely a live property asset. So your consumers can just come in here and play around and have a shoppable experience with the content that you want to present to them. What I have also done in this case is I'm just editing. I have just opened it in the editor. This is a 3D model which is being rendered, but you can just render more dynamic media if you want. In this case, I have just taken a 360-degree video. And this is one of the videos, the London Tower Bridge video. You can just drag and drop, and automatically a 360-degree video would become live on your platform. So this is the power of the 3D or the emerging new content capabilities that AEM can provide you assets. Moving on to the last pillar, personalization. Consumers today expect contextual and personalized experiences. The challenge for brands today, however, is how they can deliver these personalized experiences at scale. It's unique in its own way because delivering individualized experiences to millions of your customers across a variety of channels all the year long is a tough problem to solve. But we at Adobe have solved it. So let me go back to the AEM editor and let me show how you can enable that as well. I'm just on the AEM platform again. In that case, what AEM platform gives you is basically creating the sites, the assets, as well as the personalization capability in the same window. I'm just clicking on the personalization screen, and here you can create your own personalized activities and experiences for your customers. You can create, let's say, A/B testing activity or a recommendation offer. You can just design through that and create the segments of the audience that you want to personalize these offers to. I've just opened one new segment. Basically, I want to retarget the 3D model to a Firefox, to a customer who is coming onto a Firefox through Firefox browser. You can select the persona, the anonymous or the known customers that you want. You can select the location, and you can also put in your own business logic. In this case, I've just selected any customer persona coming from a city called as Mumbai, showcase him the 3D model of a car. So this is how easily you can actually source, you can create content, you can put in engaging immersive content like a 3D model, and you can also personalize the same directly from a single platform that AEM provides you with. Just summarizing the session, brands and organizations can rethink their content strategy. If they want to do that, they need to focus on these three pillars. Omni-channel, going through all the channels, providing content to the new and emerging channels which are coming up, providing the new and emerging content formats which are coming up like 3D, 360-degree videos, and engaging customers with these new formats. And then once the right channel is there, the right content is selected, personalizing the content according to the context the consumer is living in. I just want to end my session here through a quote from the Haas F1 team principle. Everyone wants to see action. Everyone wants to see drama. A story should contain both that action and the drama. But how you can rethink stories? You would need to rethink the content that is actually powering these stories. If you as an organization wants to rethink your stories, want to rethink your content strategies, we at Adobe are open to brainstorming with you, to have an open discussion with you, and take your content strategy to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Jogi, for that intriguing presentation. I'm sure our audiences have already gathered quite some useful information today by the end of the Fireside Chat as well as the presentation. Well, with this, we come to the end of today's session. We have indeed learned a lot from today's overall discussion that took place over the past 1 hour. I once again take this opportunity to thank all our speakers for the day, for giving us their valuable time, and most importantly, sharing some of their very important perspectives. At the same time, I would like to extend our audiences also a sincere thank you for staying with us throughout the session. I'm Baishakhi, your host, signing off for the day.